So this year, it feels like we've been eating cucumbers just about every day for a month. It's the 1st of August, and I feel like we've had cucumbers on the table every single day. That's not necessarily a bad thing because we do love cucumbers, but if you're trying to figure out what you can do with all of those extra cucumbers, today we're going to show you how you can turn them into pickles and get them in your pantry. So stick around, as just a common man answers some very common questions. As you can see, we've got our cucumbers laid out and washed, and then you're just cutting the ends off to throw them away, and then slicing up the cucumbers into a bowl to whatever thickness that you prefer. Again, just cut the ends off, any bad spots that need to be taken off of them, and then slice them down into your bowl. Now, while we have that going on, we're going to jump over here to the stove top, and you can see we've already got our pot going with the mixture in it. And we are doing bread and butter pickles today. So here is the packet of Mrs. Wage's bread and butter pickles. Instructions are on the back. So we've added the packet into the pot along with white vinegar, 6 3/4 cup of vinegar, and then the packet calls for 7 cups of sugar. We actually dropped it back. We don't like ours quite as sweet, and so we only put about 4 1/2 cups of sugar in here. Once you do that, stir it occasionally and bring it up to a boil. Get everything dissolved down in there, and then once we get that ready to go, we'll show you how we get them into the jars and what we have to do to finish it up. So again, just to recap, while you're cutting up your cucumbers and getting them ready to go, at the same time, you can be bringing your sauce mixture along with your vinegar and your sugar up to a boil on the stove. All right, as you can see, we're still bringing our mixture up to a boil. Just keep it on medium heat. Keep stirring occasionally because you don't want it to burn. And you'll feel if your sugar is dissolving in there. And then you're just going to bring it up to a boil. Now, in the meantime, we've already got everything else done. And you can see we're already getting cucumbers put into a jar. So the cucumbers have been sliced up. You're going to drop them down into the jars, shake them down so that they're really full, and then bring them up just to the bottom of that lip. And then after we get all of those packed in jars, we'll get the mixture poured down over top of them and show you how we finish everything up. All right, so our mixture came up to a boil, and we've got all of our cucumbers in the jars. And so now you're just filling the jar up to the bottom of that lip, and you'll see, just to make sure that the juice gets everywhere down and around there, we just take a knife and move it down around to get some of those air pockets out, allow that juice to settle down in around, and then make sure it gets filled all the way back up to the top. And once it does, just set it aside, fill your next one. We'll clean the tops of the jars off, get our lids and centers on them, and then give them a hot water bath, and that doesn't take long at all. All right, so our mixture's in all of the cans. It's been filled up to the bottom. You can see it's full of cucumbers, and everything's ready to go. So once you get it to that point, just clean the top of that off to make sure that when you get your center and your rings on, that you get a good, nice, tight seal around there. Put the center on, tighten the ring down, hand tight, and then we're going to put it down into the pot, and you can see we've got just enough room for, we got 2, 4, 6, 8 of them in there. And then make sure that your water is filled up over top of the jars that you have in there. And then we're going to get that on and give it a hot water bath for about 10 minutes. All right, as you can see, our pot of water is just coming up to a boil. So we're going to get the lid back on it. And then we don't need it to boil too hard because you don't want the jars to start rattling around and getting to the point to where they're banging into each other and breaking or anything. So we're going to turn that heat down. And then we are going to time it for 10 minutes for pints. And once you give them that hot water bath for 10 minutes, you're good to go. You get them set out and let them cool. And so once we get to that point, we'll take a look at the jars and see how everything turned out. Well, there you go. So you take your cucumbers, you cut the ends of them off, slice them up, take out any of the bad spots, get your mixture and your vinegar and your sugar mixed up, ready to go, and then pour it down over top of your jars and your cucumbers, and in a very short amount of time, you've got your own canned pickles. So again, these were bread and butters. We got several of them put in the pantry, and I believe we've got several more turns coming because the cucumbers are still coming on. Hope you learned something today. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, just a common man answering some very common questions.
Hey, gone.
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed and maybe even learned a little something. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel. And if you have a question about something, make sure to leave us a comment down below. We'll see if this common man can answer your very common question.
See you go.